Good morning. It's Monday, February 3, 2020 in Altoona, Iowa. Today is the day the Iowa caucuses are held, at last. It's sunny out again, but it's 10 degrees colder than it was yesterday. I don't think this will have any effect on caucus attendance. On the other hand, it's predicted to start snowing tomorrow night or Wednesday, and I care about that because I'll be driving south. First up, I need to make some corrections to my video, how the Iowa caucuses work. I read an excellent piece in the Des Moines Register this morning, pointing out several significant changes. I'm glad I did not do a prediction video because these changes to the caucus rules will affect how the outcome is perceived, both in Iowa and nationally. The first change, the raw vote totals of both rounds of caucusing will be reported to the state Democratic headquarters, and that means they'll be reported nationally. So you can have a candidate, let's pick Andrew Yang, who gets 12% of the vote in the first round and is not viable, and his candidates elect to go join someone else. And Yang finishes the caucus with no delegates, which would be a whitewash, a zero. Well, if he got 12% of the votes the first round, that's triple what he's been polling in Iowa, and that would be viewed as a victory. Under the old rules, that 12% of the vote would never have been reported. Now it will be. Second, there is no realignment if the candidate you support is viable after the first round. So, if you're an Andrew Yang delegate and your candidate gets 16% of the vote, he is viable. And you are locked into Andrew Yang. You cannot go support a different candidate in the second round. This applies even if you are an uncommitted delegate. And there have been years, Jimmy Carter in 1976 comes to mind, when uncommitted finished first in the Iowa caucuses. In that case, Carter finished second, which was seen as a win. I can't imagine people are going to declare themselves to be uncommitted here, but if they did, and 15% of the total attendees at the caucus were uncommitted, they're locked in. They do not get a chance to change their vote. That applies also to any candidate who is viable after the first round. None of his supporters can change. This changes things because with the 7 candidates here, I would guess that 4 of them are likely to be viable. That would be Biden, Warren, Bernie, and Pete Buttigieg. And 3 of them will be close or perhaps not close, depending on the voting. And that's Amy, Tom Steyer, and Andrew Yang. I think these caucus changes benefit Amy Klobuchar, Steyer, and Yang substantially. Because even if they come out of the Iowa caucuses without a single delegate, if they had more votes than had been predicted, they will look good. The last major poll I saw, which was within the past week, showed that I believe 60% of Democrats in Iowa were still undecided. Having been on the ground here for 4 months, I can understand why they are undecided. It is possible, depending on your orientation, to eliminate 1 or 2 candidates, but the others are all appealing. They're all intelligent, they all have experience, they're all sensible, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. So I'm as curious as you are how this is going to come out. I will make a couple of comments now that I understand the rules. It would not be surprising if Bernie Sanders wins the Iowa caucuses. And my reaction to that would be, so what? I think Bernie entered the Iowa caucus field back last fall with about 20% of the vote. And he may get, within a point or two, 20% of the vote at caucus night tonight. And that might be enough to win with 7 good candidates out there. Would that mean that he's the likely Democratic nominee in 2020? No, it would not. What that would mean is that 4 out of 5 Democrats in Iowa did not want Bernie Sanders as their candidate. I expect Joe Biden will do well. I'm particularly interested in the outcome for Amy Klobuchar, Tom Steyer, and Andrew Yang. This morning at breakfast, I checked in with the high school group from Cape Cod. I believe that's their bus that you saw in the video, and I believe those are the students gathering, if I'm able to put up some video that doesn't show the kids' faces, because I don't want to do that. I asked them what they did yesterday, and they went to an Elizabeth Warren rally, which makes sense, they're from Massachusetts. They went to a Bill Weld rally. He's a Republican candidate in the caucuses. I believe he's also from Massachusetts. And they went to a Joe Biden rally. No real comments on Warren or Bill Weld. They disliked the Biden rally. It was held in a middle school gym. There was no seating. It was crowded, which is a good sign for Biden. It was hot. And there were 40 minutes of speeches before Biden gave a 20-minute speech. The 40 minutes of speeches were all from Iowa Democratic office holders, because Biden has a lock on those pretty much. I previously reported that the 2 Iowa Democrat members of the House of Representatives support Biden. So do the former governors, etc. And the teacher reeled off firefighters, union members, etc. They all spoke. And then finally Joe Biden spoke for 20 minutes, and they disliked his speech. It was simply a rant against Donald Trump, is the way they reported it. One of the parents said it was like an abused spouse crying out against the abuser. I read in the paper or somewhere yesterday, somewhere reliable, that Senator Joni Ernst, a Republican from Iowa who is up for re-election this year, stated publicly that if Joe Biden wins the presidency, the Republicans will impeach him immediately because of what happened in Ukraine. Well, there's nothing to that, because nothing did happen in Ukraine except that his son was on the board of a gas company or something. I read a New Yorker piece on all that about a year ago, and Biden didn't communicate with his son, and there's no possibility that anything nefarious went on. So it was borderline irrational, almost startlingly weird for Joni Ernst to declare that the Republicans would immediately impeach Biden if he won the presidency. Perhaps that's what set Joe Biden off. I don't know. I did comment to the high school teacher and the parent that I've attended 3 Biden events. Seating was provided for everyone. Yes, they were all, quote, crowded, but that was by design, because I believe the campaign wanted to give the appearance of overwhelming support. I'm going to try to get this video up relatively early in the day. I'm still fighting the cold that latched onto me as a result of the Trump rally. I'll be as interested as you are in what the results are. I haven't picked the precinct I'm going to attend yet. With luck, I'll be sitting here tomorrow morning telling you what the results are and what I make of them. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like political content, please subscribe.